Matter of fact, I just did a seminar last year with a guy. He was a newer agent doing the seminars with us. I split the business with him.
Cool.
The seminar, teach him how to do it, and then our very first appointment. So he's spoiled now. We ended up picking total assets under management was like 1.2 million.
Oh my gosh.
Under management, we did that within the third appointment. And wrote about a $650,000 annuity out of it.
Oh my gosh.
So he was a little spoiled on that.
What's the commission on that? 40, 50 grand in total on 680 or whatever you said?
Yeah. Depends on, like, obviously whichever your comp level is on something like that.
Sure.
But if you're on a higher end, it could, on a $600,000 case, you're about 37,000. So about 6.5%
That's crazy.
comp level on that.
Awesome.
So
Now he's like, you know what? I like these Medicare seminars, bro. I like this. I like where this is going.
correct.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. We are back not only in studio, but we are in the middle of filming the Ultimate Agent Challenge right now, where we have 5 agents from all over the country that came in town, and they're using Kaboom Leads, and they're going to write $100,000 in 1 week, 5-day period. We're on day 4 right now, and they are doing incredible, and we're actually watching them all on TV as my buddy Josh Burns is joining me from Flowood, Mississippi. What is up, Josh?
I'm good, Cody. How are you, buddy?
I am great, man.
Good to be with you.
Yeah, you too, buddy. Josh is someone I've known for years. For those that don't know Josh, out of Flowood, been in the industry for a long time.
Man, since 08, roughly.
Yeah, so since 08, I got my license end of 10, was an intern and part-time in 11. But when I was a young agent, there's a few things that I always tell about Josh. One, my dad and I were on a trip. Actually, we were going to a family vacation, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This was when I was probably, 17 or 18 years old. And he was showing me production reports for all the hundreds of agents he was working with and managers. And he said, this is the dude that if you end up getting your license, when you're whatever age, right, this is the guy, I look down, I'm at, 40,000 feet. Josh Burns, right? Because we're literally on a flight when I remember that moment, right? And
I do, yes.
Yeah, which is really cool. And then the other is I was trying to find money and learn how to get into bigger opportunities and cross-sell as a new agent who was only selling life insurance at all. My dad's like, hey, you're only going to sell life insurance for the first year. That's it. And you had this money bag presentation that really opened my eyes up into finding the money. If you're there to sell Medicare, help you find life and long-term care and annuities, right? And that presentation made me some money, so thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm guessing
Glad
it's
I worked
made
for you.
I'm guessing it's made you some money over the years too.
It's kept me in the business for sure.
Yeah.
Keeps the bill collectors away.
Yeah.
And of course, at the end of the day, you're always helping somebody put them in a better position too. So,
amen. Also, for those who don't know Josh, he doesn't speak to his discipline and his drive. He is someone that is a black belt in Taekwondo.
Mm-hmm.
And is now a blue belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yep, just received that one.
That's awesome. Congrats. And is doing that 3 times a week now.
Yes.
Just crazy,
Just trying to keep up with the young guys.
Is that what it is? I mean,
That's it.
or is it for you, is it like you always feel like you need to be doing something or chasing or improving or learning?
Me, it is. I always like the challenge,
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, being the 3rd or 4th oldest guy in the whole school. It's crazy to be able to try to keep up with the younger guys, and you kind of really learn your place when it comes to age. Does make a difference sometimes, for sure. But it is a challenge, though.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's cool that you do that. So when you started in 08, what did the industry look like? How did it start for you? Also, for those watching, Josh is out of Mississippi, but he's working and helping agents in Mississippi, Alabama, Florida.
In Louisiana.
Yeah, cool.
Man, for me, back in the day, there was no guidance, right? There was nobody saying, hey, there was none of the podcast stuff that you guys are doing today. There was none of the other community-type networks back then. It was all about the companies saying, hey, come to us. We got the greatest thing. We'll pay you all this commissions. But there was no back end. There was no help on the backside.
Got it.
So it was like, hey, here's your contract. Now good luck and go sell.
What were you selling back then?
Man, whatever I could, actually. It started off when I first started off as a bunch of ancillary products for like some groups type stuff.
Okay.
And then that lasted for, I don't know, about 6 months maybe. And then I started bouncing around with about 3 or 4 different companies for about a year and a half before I had found, at that time was Mutual of Omaha at that particular time.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I got to meet Brian and you and all that. So, and then from there, it became about the Medicare side of things, which was my first time to ever really see Medicare, kind of know what it was, how it worked. But my eyes were open when it came to the fact that there was the renewal piece.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And then we had some training. I forgot who did it for us, but they talked about how to kind of find monies and different cross-selling opportunities. And then that's when I sort of took the money bag presentation, if you will, and kind of made it my own. And then I realized at that point, the seniors are the ones that actually have the assets that are liquid to the most point where they can be moved, whether it's a 401k, old IRAs, brokerage accounts, or whatever. And then for me, that was like, that's where the money's at.
Yeah.
Right. The Medicare was a door opener. It was what needed to happen. It's what people need, to take care of their healthcare needs. But the money bag was just a fun way, an easy, non-invasive way to find out where their assets are.
Yeah.
And then I learned pretty quick, if you could own the assets, you can own the purse of the house, then they'll come to you for any other questions at that point. Can I come buy? You think I got money to buy a car? Like, we're thinking about doing this. So it became that, and I was like,
those type of questions along
yes.
the way. Wow.
Yeah. So once we took over the portfolio, whether we did it under AUM, whether we did it in annuity piece or a combination of all the above, when you own all of it, they do come to you for those type of questions. And then at that point you own that house. And they're your people. It's up to you at that point to take care of them, make sure you don't lose them, and do the right thing for them.
And if you don't, I guess you might lose them.
You will lose them.
Yeah.
I can assure you that.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you that we've kept every one of our clients.
Sure.
But over the years, we probably have 95% retention on all of our stuff.
That's awesome.
From that point.
Yeah, that's cool. So what did you learn or figure out that allowed you to not only get in front of people, but get good at finding the money when, my dad is saying, hey, this is the dude you need to learn from. This is the guy you're chasing. What happened from bouncing around the first 3 or 4 years to become that person?
Man, it was the culture. It was a culture to where everybody was okay to share their knowledge, right? There was a few people that obviously didn't want to share their stuff, but that's fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, it was all about the culture. It was a family-oriented culture. Everybody loved each other. Everybody wanted to help each other. Everybody wanted to see each other succeed. And so that's what was really the biggest thing for me. I found a place that I could call home. There was folks that I could help, along the way. But at the same time, I was able to bounce off the energy that was inside of those 4 walls.
True. Yeah. Do you remember what some of the ways you were getting in front of people back then when you were succeeding really well?
Man, this is old school. We were still typing out letters.
Oh, wow.
We were hand addressing envelopes.
Hand addressing?
Yes. Hand addressing envelopes. We would mass print these particular letters. Hey, you're about to turn 65, blah, 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 whatever it may be.
Yep.
And then we would, I was mailing about 1,000 a week out is what I was doing.
Dang. And that was costing you probably 50, 60 cents?
Something like that, all in, because you had the envelopes, the stamps, and everything else.
Yeah.
That Mutual of Omaha was charging us for on that part there. But out of that, I mean, I was probably converting about 20% or so that was coming through.
Wow.
But I didn't worry about so much that number. I just knew that if I could sell 10 Medicare supplements, I was probably going to get at least 2 long-term care policies out of it. And this wasn't a hybrid policy that we have today. These are the old school,
big premiums too.
Yes. And, we were picking up 1 to 2 money cases as well out of those 10.
Wow.
So that's what the money back sort of did for me, and just chasing the Medicare piece on the backside.
So in that case, you were spending like $600. Also, man, when we came to like, I used to do some of that too. I hated
It was
licking
horrible.
envelopes.
It was horrible.
And stuffing. I started doing some of that like the second and third year, and a little bit for some T65 business, right? But man, it sucked. Yeah. So okay, so spending $600, you get in front of people. You were probably, I mean, it sounds like you're producing, I mean, tens of thousands in commission. You know.
Yeah. So I think my first full year, if you want to call it that, with Mutual, was about in their world was net first year commission. So it was about $135,000.
So it's probably $270 in premium-ish, something like that.
Something like that. I know if you convert that into the independent side,
yeah,
you're probably talking $350,000 or so in commission.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, because it was 35 to 50%.
Yeah,
I don't know what long-term care was, but
it was 50%.
Yeah, because it wasn't much better for sure.
Mm-mm.
And that's kind of normal with long-term care anyway. What do you do? So transition to now. What do you do now? Because the business you're talking about when you were at Mutual, we talked about that year. Was that 2011, 2012?
That was around 2010, 2011.
Yeah. So it's 15 years later.
Mm-hmm.
What's changed now?
Nothing.
Okay,
I still
good.
do the same.
Okay, good.
The
letters?
The letters, I don't do those anymore.
Okay.
So everything else is the same with the exception of it's 100% Medicare seminars now.
Yep.
Obviously we've built a big enough business now. We get a lot of referrals at this point, but as far as getting new business in the door, it is Medicare seminars.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But the process after that, once we get in front of them, is all still the same. We still money bag them. We still look for the other.
Still go through the money bag.
I do a little bit different today. I don't draw it out like I used to.
Okay. Is it pre-printed or you just don't draw a bag?
I don't draw a bag anymore. I kind of know all the stuff in my
Still work
head
as well?
It does.
Okay, good. I liked the whole money bag. So what he would do is like he would literally take a piece of paper, draw. I was terrible at drawing, by the way, so mine looked atrocious. Draw like this little money bag, and then it would talk about medical expenses.
Yeah, we poked 4 holes in the bag, and then one was the medical and hospitals, and it was long-term care issues, taxes and inflation, and then like estate planning, life insurance.
Yep.
That's so.
I still remember like it was yesterday.
So we hit really hard on the LTC part of it because that's really how I kind of find the money part of it, right? Because a lot of times they won't tell you how much money they got or whatever. But if you can ask them some long-term care scenario type questions, if you were to have to pay for your own care, it's $50,000 a year. How many years could you afford to do that, right?
That'll tell you a lot.
And they'll tell you exactly, for the most part, pretty much what they have.
So if they said I could pay for 20 years, that means they've got about $1 million.
Correct.
It's a good way to find it.
Correct. And so then you just kind of make mental notes on that right there, and you kind of see where they, what their thoughts are on the LTC side of things. Is it something they're really interested? If not, then if they are, then we go down that rabbit hole. If not, then we'll transfer over to the taxes and inflation part of it, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm going to interrupt the podcast to tell you about our Kaboom Leads that are literally blowing up. If you would love to never get disconnected numbers or wrong numbers ever again, then you will love our leads at Kaboom Leads. All of our lead types, we text the prospect a 6-digit security code. They go back in the funnel and put that in to verify that it is a real, accurate cell phone number, and they've responded to a text message. We do this for all of our lead types. If you haven't tried Kaboom Leads, you can use coupon code PODCAST to get 10% off of your very first order at CABOOM Back to the show. So then you're doing Medicare Seminars, and that's a pretty turn, and that's how you're getting in front of clients. Yes. Turning 65, helping them with their Medicare, MedSup, or MedAdvantage. Is it more MedSup or MedAdvantage in Flowwood, Jackson area?
Yes, we still got all those, yeah.
Yeah. And then you obviously looking for other opportunity, finding, you still write a good amount of annuities as well.
Yes.
And some AUM.
Yep, we do.
Yeah.
Partner with Pat on that one.
Nice. Cool. That's awesome. And then the Medicare Seminars. So for those maybe new to that concept, they can understand, okay, it's a seminar, it's an event. What happens? How are you getting in front of them? So there's a system in place. Mm-hmm. Are you doing it all, or whatever you want to share?
Yep. So we do have a third-party vendor that does all of our mailouts for us.
Yep. They're good.
Yes.
They're real good.
We typically only do, for us, where our geographic location is, we typically only do about a 30-mile radius.
Okay.
and no more than 3,000 piece mail out. So I try to keep it between a 6 and 8 month window of when somebody's turning 65
for 3,000 people.
And then we usually average anywhere between 1 and 3% return as far as
30 to
registering for the actual seminar itself. And that'll vary by location. And then roughly it's about 80% of the registrations actually show up. And then from there, they come in, we feed them. They sit there for about an hour and 15 to 30 minutes presentation. Tons of Q&A that goes on through the whole presentation. And then at the end of it, basically there's a form that we've asked them to fill out. On the bottom of it says, yes, I like a one-on-one. No, don't ever call me again. You know, give them that option to get out of it.
Exactly that.
I'd make jokes of it that way.
Sure.
It doesn't say it that way, but I always do that. Everybody laughs in the room, but
that's awesome.
Kind of break the theme.
That's good.
And then there is a way for them to set an appointment before they leave.
Oh, cool.
So we do have that option for them.
How do they do that? I love that. It's like a QR code or what?
We have a QR code, but most people write on their bottom of their form. So the last line of it in there says, I'd like an appointment Tuesday at 6. And
what if they write at the same time?
We just let it go. We'll figure it out at that point.
Yeah.
Our only problem right now, Cody, is we've got more people to see than we do of us. So I can fill the room. Like we just did a seminar in Mobile. We did that 3,000 piece mail out. We had 110 registrations.
Whoa.
And we had a total of 85 show between the two nights.
That's almost 4% registration.
Yes.
That's high.
So the thing of it is we just need more bodies that we can train and help and educate and get them sort of plug and play with that right there. Because we've already worked out all the bugs that works, that doesn't work for us. We got rid of those. So we know how the things work. We just need a bunch of bodies in there to help us kind of roll out this stuff.
Have you ever had a Medicare seminar that you did not get an ROI on?
None.
Wow.
No seminar. My best seminar ever we did, our total spend was $2,250 to the exact penny.
That's mail and food.
Mail and food. And then it was $48,300 in commissions.
2,200 to 48,000.
Yes.
It's a nice 24x ROI.
Correct.
Wow. On a seminar system. That's cool.
It was in our second best that we've ever really did. We've done some that were 2 to 3 ROIs, which is kind of normal for a lot of them. But
even if you 1x an ROI, which is atrocious, clearly, or 2 or whatever, still getting clients, still meeting people, still getting contacts, still getting renewals.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's where most agents kind of missed the boat when we first talk about the seminars. Like, well, I didn't make but this. I said, we got to realize that this that you made is now on your books. If it's MA plans, it's dollar for life, right? And if it's supplements, it's dollar for at least the first 6 years. So you technically made 6 times your ROI.
You did. That's incredible.
So that's the way we look at it. So everything I do is always going to be, it's always a long-term play. I don't necessarily, if I only made $2,000 from this seminar that I did, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and pay for the next one. We're going to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
But your ROI, so sometimes it may take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months sometimes to get to that point, right?
Got it.
So the $48,000 one, don't get me wrong, it didn't happen in 2 months. That was a 6-month process is what it was.
Wow.
So there were several assets under management cases that we did. There was a couple of big annuities in that one right there. But it takes time to work for the money piece. So that's kind of where I tell a lot of agents too. It's like those bigger cases, it's going to take time. Like you can't just say, "Hey, here's our first appointment. We're going to get it." Right?
Yeah. Give me all your money now, please.
Matter of fact, I just did a seminar last year with a guy. He was a newer agent doing the seminars with us. I split the business with him.
Cool.
The seminar, teach him how to do it, and then our very first appointment. So he's spoiled now. We ended up picking total assets under management was like $1.2 million.
Oh my gosh!
Under management, we did that within the third appointment. And wrote about a $650,000 annuity out of it.
Oh my gosh!
So he was a little spoiled on that.
What's the commission on that? 40, 50 grand in total. on 680 or six, whatever you said?
Yeah, depends on like obviously whichever your comp level is on something like that.
Sure.
But if you're on a higher end, it could on a $600,000 case, you're about 37,000, so about 7%.
Awesome. That's crazy.
Comp level on that.
Awesome.
So
now he's like, you know what? I like these Medicare seminars, bro. I like this. I like where this is going.
Correct. And now he's in it long enough now to where we're paying out the renewals to him, so he gets to see. So you got to see that part of it now. So he sees it. All of it's starting to click for him on that part there.
Where's he out of?
He's actually in Flowood.
Good. Cool. And would you, if you found someone that was like, hey, dude, they saw this and they're like, man, dude, I really want to give that Medicare seminar system a shot, but and you liked them and they seemed really driven and they had some money to invest in the program, whatever, but they weren't in Mississippi, Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, whatever. Mm-hmm. Could they still call and chat? Would you maybe still help them or work with them?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd probably still help them either way, but
I would. I'm all about paying it forward.
Josh, for sure. Yeah.
All about paying it forward.
You did that for me a lot as an early agent too, by the way. I don't know if you realize that or, but you did a lot for me.
I'm glad it worked.
I wouldn't be doing this probably if it wasn't for Josh Burns.
I don't know.
Keeping me alive, man.
You definitely surpassed the formula on that part there. So. But no, honestly though, anybody anywhere in the really country would definitely help, for sure. The reason we say the markets that we say is because I understand those markets. So everybody's a little bit different. Every state's a little bit different. So, but for us, we really know that market pretty well. But if anybody ever has any questions on it, we'd be more than happy to sit down and help figure it out for them.
That's awesome, buddy. What's some tips or things that you do in a seminar that maybe people don't do or it's not normal, but it's good, it helps, so creative ways to maximize ROI. Like you mentioned a QR. You also mentioned like you can really write down what time you want to meet on the paper. Also, do they come in the office or you go to them?
Both. Yeah.
Cool.
If they do it, if we're doing the seminar there in Flowood where our office is, we'd have everything come to us. If it's one of the other ones, we'll either go to them, we'll do it, or via Zoom. One of the two is what we typically do there. But as far as some tips, I guess, inside of the seminar is I give too much information.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Or you do it on purpose?
I do it on purpose.
Okay. So then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. Can you just help me with it?
For the most part, that is part of it, right?
That's got to be part. A little bit, yeah.
It's opening up Pandora's box, right?
Yeah.
But I look at it this way: they're going to go to 3 or 4 seminars, probably before they ever sign up with anybody, whether it's you or the next guy.
Oh wow!
So we've had clients now that have come to our seminar, and they would tell me, "Josh, this is my 4th one to come to."
Wow!
And they would say, "Yours is the absolute best."
Whoa.
You gave us more information. The last people didn't say this. The last people didn't say that. So I do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because these newer generation of people turning 65, they've had computers in their faces for the last 15 or 20 years. They know how to use Google. And so now with AI, you can type in anything you want to, and AI is going to spit it all out for you.
True.
So I would much rather give the information on the front end, and then somebody go Google it later and say, well, how come you didn't tell me this?
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we do, a lot of information. And then the other thing that we do to kind of help tee up the money side of things is inside of our presentation, they have it's called IRMA. It's called the Income Monthly Related Adjustment, right? So based on income, their Part B premium could be higher or lower. So we kind of hold that a little bit and talk a little bit more about that and how we can help clients avoid that extra IRMA in the way that if they're taking distributions. Now, if their income is what it is, that's one thing. But if they're doing it by distributions, then we can kind of maybe help offset that. So that's kind of some conversations that we get to tee up. And matter of fact, that's how we helped that agent take on that $1.2 million case was the IRMA conversation.
That's cool. I bet a lot of people don't address that at all.
They don't. They skip right over it.
Yeah. I could see that. I could totally see that. Anything else as far as like, okay, an agent, do you want to go make, build a 6-figure residual income and build a good book of business, plug into in your case, a Medicare seminar system, do these things at the seminar, and then get in front of them and fact find. Anything else we're missing in regards to a lot of that?
That's how simple it is.
It's cool.
I mean, it is that simple. And I think a lot of people just try to overcomplicate the seminar piece of it. From there, matter of fact, Brian was the first one I see do a seminar on it, and I was like, well, if it works for him, it's gonna work for me. So I didn't change a thing. I just made it me, right? Sure. My style, my lingo, that kind of stuff. But outside of that, we keep it really simple.
Yeah. He started doing those. I don't know, back 2014 or 15, something a long time ago, and they worked. And you just kept. You got to be willing to jump and try something, right? And then you're going to learn it, improve it, and tweak it, make it your own. Find ways. Okay, how do I convert people from the room better?
Correct.
How do I get them to show up to appointments? Those kind of things. But
a lot of it too that we do as well is we do a lot of the pre-stuff too. So, a day or two before the seminar, we're already contacting them through a text message. One of the staff is calling them the day before.
Love that.
They get a text message the day of. Looking forward to seeing you tonight, blah, blah, blah.
That's cool.
And then the day after, they're getting a thank you for coming.
Nice. Is it a manual text?
We do it through the CRM program.
Cool. Awesome.
And then if they didn't show, sorry we missed you. Love to maybe set some one-on-one time with you, kind of deal.
I love that. It's really good. If they want to learn more about you and what all you do, or they're like, man, I really just want to chat with this dude. He seems like a wealth of knowledge. He helped Cody. Maybe he can help me too. What should they do, or where should they go? What should they?
Man, the easiest thing, if they want to, they can shoot me an email. It's just my first and last name, Josh Burns, at capstoneifg.com. They can go to our website and reach us that way too, which is www.capstoneifg.com.
And the IFG is Insurance Financial Group.
It is.
Yeah, capstoneifg.com. Cool. And it's just Josh Burns at capstoneifg.com.
No dots, no periods, just Josh Burns.
That's awesome. Keep it simple. Well, thanks for being up from Mississippi and it's been 3 years, by the way.
It actually has.
Since you were on the podcast. And so I am honored that you are back. I've loved having you on, and thanks for being here.
Thanks, Cody.
Yeah, appreciate you. Also appreciate you guys hanging and listening to us and being a part of today. Josh is someone who is, a good dude, man. He's crushing it. He cares about helping agents in a huge way. And so if you're out there and you're like, man, I really want to learn how to create residual income, build a book of business, and I want a system. Clearly Josh's system works, and it can promise you it could work for you too. Thanks for hanging on the Power Player Podcast. And we'll see you on the next one. Kaboom.